Good morning. We're here at Corteva at NAFB here, and you've had some exciting news this morning with 3 new soybean treatments. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so definitely building out the portfolio in this soybean space. So 3 new additions for the upcoming crop year 2025. So the first is Inversa. So that is encapsulated acetyl core. That is a post-emerge product for small seeded broadleafs and grasses. And then we have 2 in the pre-emerge space. So Kyber Pro, that's a premium liquid pre-emerge. And then Sonic Boom, which is another, like I said, a liquid pre-emerge for broadleaf control.
Okay. And then what are some of those benefits of those for producers for next season?
Yeah, I think what it does is ultimately, optimizing weed control and weed resistance management is multiple passes at different times of the year. So being able to, apply Kyber Pro pre-emerge, that gives you about a 6-week window there for weed control management until you can follow up with Inversa in season. For that post-emerge. So essentially it gives growers more options to tank mix, growers more options to apply at different times of the year, and so on and so forth.
Definitely. And how can producers make the most of these new products and other Corteva products with the 2025 season?
Yeah, I would suggest talking to your local field sales representative that sponsors Corteva Crop Protection. They're the agronomic and product experts out in the field that know your geography, your soil types, your growing conditions. But, partnering with Corteva, then you have Pioneer and Brevant, 2 large, well-known global seed brands. We're all in this together. So Corteva is a great company to partner with.
Definitely. And where can people learn more about these new soybeans?
Corteva.us/Inversa or /Kyber Pro or /Sonic Boom.
Good morning. We're here at Corteva, and we're just talking about corn weed control and what producers can do to make the most out of their crop in 2025.
Caitlin, weeds are always a problem. Let's kind of think about this. We're out there planting, 25, 30,000 corn plants per acre. And why aren't we planting 60 or 70,000? There's too much competition. All right. What if I have weeds giving me the same competition? Well, you have the same problem, except for there's no hope at all that if you have a weed that it's going to give you anything profitable as opposed to more corn. So weeds just cost yield. The best approach that we can have, especially when you start getting out into places like where you are, where residuals need rainfall to work, well, let's start layering out residual control. Start with a good residual program up front, and then when that corn's right where you can row it or a little bit later, then let's give another shot of a knockdown product plus residual control to keep your weed control going through the season.
Definitely. And what are some of those products that producers can use?
The key products that we would be using in that part of the world is to start with a Keystone or a Sure Start initial program, and then follow that with a post-emerge application of Resicor or the new Resicor Rev. We've just introduced Resicor Rev into the market. Some of the benefits that you get with Resicor Rev, Caitlin, is with the new formulation, we have the ability to go on taller corn up to 24 inches tall. Now, I just got done telling you, spray it early, and that is always the plan. But what happens when it rains? We'd love to have that rain, but sometimes that keeps you out of the fields a couple weeks longer than you would hope to. But this can still be used because it's formulated such that we can go up to 24-inch tall corn. Another benefit of the Resicor Rev, I didn't mention it as the planting time product, but it could be used as a planting time. Where I would use it at planting time is if I'm going to use ammonium thiosulfate or thiazole or ATS as part of my mixture early. Okay, why would I do that? Well, because I need sulfur. The problem is there's hardly a chemical on the market that will mix with ATS. Resicor Rev will, up to a 50% inclusion rate. So if we go 8 gallons of ATS, it would be normal rate for your world. 8 gallons of nitrogen, you can get a good flowable mixture with the Resicor Rev in that mix.
Okay, interesting. And then you touched on it a little bit, but what does timing look like as far as want to get the weeds down as early as possible, but what's kind of your last-ditch effort for getting those down later in the season?
A post-emerge application is typically going to be limited by the label, but as far as a weed size goes, you'll really want to hit your water hemp and Palmer amaranth before it hits about 4 inches tall. Why is that? Once you hit about 4 inches tall, then those weeds start growing an inch or more per day, and it's almost impossible to get ahead of it. Now, there are certain things that you can add to your Resicore or those type of products that are going to help if things have gotten out of control. If you have Enlist-enabled corn, you could add the Enlist herbicide to help you out if you get into a pinch. Or you can tank mix in different products like Liberty if your corn is enabled for that. But the real key is to be early enough that you're ahead of the problem and you can stave it off before it becomes a real big problem for you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me this morning.
Caitlin, it's always a pleasure, and thank you too.
Thank you. Good morning, Sam. We're here with Corteva, and you have a new pasture herbicide out. And if you could just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we're excited about Nova Gray's herbicide. It's a new one we're offering in 2025, and it's a brand new tool in the toolbox for producers that want to control broadleaf weeds while preserving white clover and annual Lespedeza.
Okay, and how can producers use this to maximize their pastures?
Yeah, so this herbicide, it does two things that come to mind. It removes unwanted weeds, but it preserves two that are very beneficial to pastures: white clover, annual Lespedeza. And the reason why they're beneficial, they're legumes, so from a soil fertility standpoint, they bring nitrogen into the soil, and from an animal performance standpoint, they're very high in crude protein. They're very digestible, so animals love them, and they do a great job of putting pounds of beef on those cattle.
Definitely. And how does application work for this product?
Yeah, so with an application, it'll be a broadcast application across the pasture. There's no grazing restrictions with this herbicide, so that's a great benefit to the producers. There's not the logistical challenges of removing cattle off of pasture if they want to make that herbicide application. No grazing restrictions whatsoever. We can talk, well, we don't have to talk about the details of the use rates. We're going to get that out once we start rolling it out in 2025 with our retailers and our range and pasture specialists that are across the U.S. They're really knowledgeable staff. They're excited about selling it this coming year.
Definitely. So you talked about no grazing restrictions. I assume that's the same on the flip side as far as withdrawal dates?
Yeah, so we do have specific language on there with draw dates for, I think it's a 3-day withdrawal for those cattle. But a lot of times in these systems, these applications will be going on, cow-calf operations,
right,
stocker operations, where 3 days, that's not a big deal, not a big issue for us. And the benefit of it is, you think about preserving white clover, annual Lespedeza, those are great forages to put pounds of beef on these cattle. Also on the cow-calf side, it really helps that mama cow, the brood cow, to have a higher nutritional plane. So her conception rates can go up. She's getting bred back faster. She's dropping heavier calves. She's weaning heavier calves. And with a strong cattle market like we're seeing in 2025, that's a good sign for producers.
Definitely. And you talked about the team is going to be ready to talk all about it next year. Is there anywhere that producers can go in the meantime to learn more?
Yeah, if you go to novagrays.us, that'll have more information about Nova Gray's herbicide, and it'll really get into the details if they have specific questions.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me this morning.
You bet. Thank you.